courtesy of you-know-who, John from Medford, the star.
Hello, Joe.
Johnny, welcome back.
Yep.
It's been a while.
I know. You have very busy shows, and it's a respite to have other voices other than me on your show.
Well, we're off next week because there's a board of directors meeting right here in the studio. And then we have our summer schedule coming. We have a lot of guests lined up.
Yep.
So what's happening with hockey?
Well, nothing right now. I mean, they just I'm watching the Red Sox game, and right now they just put a score up on for the Bruins, and it's midway through the first period, and it's 0-0.
Okay.
So that's good. I mean, nothing better than a 0-0 score at this point.
And how about the Sox?
They're down 1-0, but they got one runner on and one out. Shane Victorino just hit a double in the fourth inning after Jacoby Ellsbury grounded out to the shortstop, flew out to the shortstop.
Yeah, this pitcher of Tampa Bay's is rather spotty.
Well, no. The interesting thing is his last start, he only won 4 2/3 innings, but he struck out 13 batters in that game.
Which is amazing. And in the first inning here, he got 2 batters, Pedroia and Ellsbury.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you have a game like that, which the team can't win for you, and then you have to come out the next time and play even better. And so far, before the Victorino hit, he had a perfect game going. And we should say, you were at that game last Friday night when they played Toronto.
I was going to bring that up, but I'm glad you did.
I pay attention to the games so close, but I wasn't actually paying attention that closely to realize that, in fact, Lester was throwing a perfect game.
Me too. I didn't know until when he got that double and everyone started erupting.
There's a fallacy, which I do believe, which is you're not supposed to mention anything about a perfect game until way later on in the game.
Right.
Okay, they didn't mention it on the TV or the radio, so I wasn't paying attention when they were putting the score up at the end of each half inning to notice what was going on. So naturally, it was like a normal game to me. When it got to the point where he gave up the hit and he lost a perfect game, then I said, "Uh-oh. How dare me for not realizing that."
It's just one of those things. But I had a lot of fun at the ballpark, Johnny. The electricity of being there in the bleachers, when they do the wave.
Yeah.
And they did the wave about 3 cycles.
Well, yeah, it starts from around the infield area and goes around to the outfield and back. It goes around and around. And that actually was started here in Boston at a college football game to begin with.
Well, it was an amazing thing because the electricity, then I realized why it's so much fun to be at the ballpark. It was a perfect night.
Yep.
The weather was perfect. It was a clear sky, and he was pitching a great game. But then they did Sweet Caroline. Okay, some of us are so tired of that, right? But it was electric. I don't care what song they're singing, 34,000 people. It was electric being in the crowd.
It's special to us now because, remember, after the marathon, what's his name, flew in now, and we thought I actually thought that was the Red Sox that invited him to come in, but it was actually, the story goes, he called Tom Warner that day at 12:40 from Logan Airport, saying that he was in Boston and he wanted to come to the game. So how do you say no to him if he grabbed a 2 o'clock, somewhere around a 2:30 flight out of California, took the red eye to come here to Boston, and you knew when they showed him in the stands at the ballpark, you knew he was there to do a live version of that, and then for him a week or so later to announce that from now on, the proceeds from that song, when it's downloaded, is going to go to the charities benefiting, any charities benefiting.
Well, I don't think it will be from now on, John, because that would be ludicrous. That's one of his biggest hits.
For the rest of this year.
All right, that'd be substantial for 1 year. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, he did that because they they made the song even more bigger than he could have ever thought, because basically he never thought it could come this big. The Red Sox started doing it, and they've been doing this for 10 years before this big incident with the marathon, and now it becomes even bigger because he came the week after the bombing and sang it at Fenway Park. That's pretty good. But then you look at the Blue Jays. Now look at the Blue Jays. And I was just looking at this thing. The Blue Jays came here to Boston and took 2 out of 3 from us. Who would have thought that they would have come in, took 2 out of 3 from us, and start on a binge of scoring where they've outscored their last 2 opponents 35 to 11 between the 15-4 victory they got on us last Sunday, and then they go home and they take out the world champion San Francisco Giants in 2 straight by 10 runs or more, and they're doing it to the Giants again tonight.
Well, baseball is a fascinating thing because the Blue Jays were picked on paper this offseason to be the team, like the Red Sox 2 years ago, and look what's happened.
But the Red Sox didn't have a $68 million payroll, and then rebuild, and then basically pick up a one or so $million more to make it a $168 million payroll. See what I'm saying? That's the whole deal. The money that they picked up, everyone thought that this, here I am saying last year, I think I said it to you a couple of times on your show, last year the Red Sox should go to the Marlins and try to grab some of these guys. We needed a shortstop. I thought Jose Reyes would be a great fit. We needed pitching help. Well, Josh Johnson, Mark Burley, and so far, Josh Johnson is going to be coming back off the disabled list after 3 weeks, and Reyes is gone at least until late next month. So in some cases, I would have been wrong in making that deal.
Well, let's shift gears a little and let's be very careful about this, okay?
Yeah, by the way, I should say the Red Sox tied the game up. It's now 1-1.
Thank you. Excellent. So it's 8:28 and a half minutes, and the Red Sox just tied the game 1-1. All right, so John, I looked on the Facebook of TV3 Medford.
Correct.
On the 10th of May, which was 6 days ago, they put up the boarded-up building 3 days after my video went up.
Right.
We forced them once again to come clean with the residents.
Right. Well, Joe, I mean, I've been saying this to you, and I'm going to tread lightly on this, and I'll say this. Every time they think they got you figured out, you throw a curveball at them, and they end up having to back down.
Well, here's what's happened tonight, okay? I put in public records requests to the keeper of the records at City Hall.
Right.
Showing, I think I mailed it to you, showing...
Yeah, I saw it on my email, yep.
Where they're not giving the mayor, they've got to give a schedule. And the mayor, what are they going to give for a schedule? No programming. So
they don't even have a station.
there's no station right now in Medford. And Winchester residents should realize it's an election year. And as I wrote to one of the higher-ups in Boston today, one of the head attorneys who's looking into this for us, John, I said, it's an election year. And State Rep Paul Donato, one of our previous guests, said this is the most protected right. So
right.
at the council next week, I might talk a little bit about why we need this immediately. Now, I talked to a notable Medford resident last night. I won't say the person's name, but this individual believes the only person who has a shot with the city council is Adam Knight. So Bob Fitzpatrick, Jeannie Martin, who's the other guy? There's Neil Osborne, and then there's Mark Crowley. This individual doesn't think they can gather the 4,000 votes because of voter apathy. I think we need the station back, John, so that we can get
At this point in time, there's so much apathy against this current regime that I think, and I've told you about my friend in Florida who believes that there could be a major sea change, and I do believe it. I think we could see, and I believe you talked to a couple of councilors recently, And,
I talked to Brianna and Penter on Tuesday night.
Right, and and judging by what you told me, I can only gather that Penter's got to be worried, and he's...
No, Penter's running. I heard from good authority, Penter's running. So
he may be running, but he's got to work extra hard because he could be in danger. Basically, that whole city council, minus Della Russo and Brianna, could all be in danger, because if Michael Marks should run for mayor, which we don't know if that's the case yet, although it looks, by the way he's been speaking the last several weeks.
Oh, the way he spoke this Tuesday night, I mean, he was denouncing the mayor.
It looks like he's going to do it, so I mean, unless he decides to run for city council, there's one seat that could be taken away, and then you look around the other seats, and you got the city council president, you got Camuso, you got Caraviello, you got Mayako, and you got probably Penta. So you're looking at least 6 of the 7 seats that could be gone. And if we elect a new mayor, then that's a real seat change.
Well, here's the thing: if McGlynn, the mayor, had 5 opponents, okay, that he knew about right now, he would be very, very worried.
Right.
So I think that these councilors have to be worried, despite what this person in the know, and this person does know a lot about Medford. So I have to take what he said to me with great weight. But if I'm a city councilor, I'm thinking there's 5 people that have their websites up, they're ready to rock, and they're already out there looking for votes.
Well,
they're already having parties.
Now, you mentioned Jeannie Martin, and she's a candidate, and I don't know if you saw the news last night at 11 o'clock, but there was a story regarding a candidate in Somerville who was running for public office. I believe it was their city council, which is, I believe, Board of Aldermen or something.
Okay.
And she's gay, and she's a school teacher, and all of a sudden she announces she's running, and there's been so much furor over that from the anti-gay establishment, saying that they don't think a gay candidate should run.
Well, that's crazy, especially in Somerville, because Somerville.
And she's got the respect of the school department. So basically, she's got the teachers union in her pocket. So that's one union that she'll get votes from, and she's got respect from the parents in the school that she works from. So you got that. So I mean, I think she could win this, and that would be interesting. But to see.
But I don't think, John, Medford gets it, because the transcript and the Mercury, they aren't publicizing any of this stuff. Oh, they'll give each candidate a blurb like they gave you.
Right.
But at the end of the day.
That's the mayor. The mayor controls the Medford transcript with an iron fist. The only way you'll get in the paper is if you, or if I, for instance, who runs for mayor, should find a way to upset him.
Well, you'll get a story on page 3, but he gets the headlines, and we have to watch these papers very closely. I have to go look at the Mercury tonight just to see how much traction he's getting. But I don't want to bore our Winchester residents with that. I thought I'd touch upon it.
I know. What I was getting at is the fact that if someone should ever come in and take him out, all of a sudden that becomes front page news because the transcript's meal ticket is gone.
Well, people can read my blog for free, and we're on the verge of 100,000 hits.
I know.
Someone is paying attention to this thing.
Well,
so
I mean, we got to believe that people from TV3 are paying attention to it, and
they probably hit it 35,000 times. But that being said, we're over 98,000 hits. So by the end of next week, we should be at 100,000, or if not sooner. And that's pretty significant, man.
Right now, because you believe it or not, Joe, whether you think so or not, your blog is getting to certain people in the city. They're seeing it, and they're probably flying it around.
Well, what I put up tonight was the public records requests. You can't argue with them. And when you see the facts and you see that I'm demanding this information, now next week what I'm going to go on is how long it's taking them to respond to these requests. When they don't respond, John...
Is that you're actually swaying the way this election could end up in the fact that say Marks does announce he's running, all right,
Well, the information on my blog is all he needs for ammunition because, like I said,
Right.
just showing people how long it takes them to respond to a public records request, which they're legitimately supposed to have 10 days, but they're taking 30 and 40 days.
Down there, when they ask the mayor a question, how long does it take them to get that question answered by the mayor? If they ask for a question to be answered, say, when do they hold their meetings down there in Winchester?
We have it's the month of May, but I really don't know. But
Okay.
let's not. I don't want to bore Winchester with too much Medford stuff.
No.
It's been fun talking to you.
Yep.
Keep watching the games, and I'm going to visit you soon because I got some Red Sox and Celtics stuff for you.
And I will talk to you later tonight, and that's it. I'll talk to you hopefully in another couple of weeks or whenever you have free time when you're not booked up with us, because I know you're always booked up, so it's just a hit or miss when you can get to me. Until then, I'll be talking to you.
Thank you very much, John from Medford.
Yep.
Bye. The famous John from Medford, he's on 98.5 and 93.7. He's a frequent caller, and they support, he runs for mayor in Medford. I should say that just for full disclosure. He is a candidate himself. We didn't push him just now, but the two sports stations do, and they're pretty funny about it. It's great.